I think this conversation is showing that there is an uncontroversial premise on which the political response to the challenges raised by digitalization and globalization of the economy is based, and that is that these are global issues that require a global answer. And let me start by commending the work done by the Inclusive Framework with the approval of the two reports on the blueprints for Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, recognized by the G20 to constitute a solid basis for further progress toward the consensus-based international solution that we must agree by mid-21, which is the deadline, as we all know, set by the G20 leaders in November last year. And I think there is also this positive and broad agreement also in this conversation that the review of the existing international tax rules is really urgent. And it's positive that we all share this sense of urgency. And of course, the Italian presidency is fully aware of this sense of urgency. And I think on Pillar 1, I fully agree with what has been said. There are particular 2 points to be made, one relating to fairness and the other to stability. First, we need to restore the fairness of the international tax system because traditional businesses pay taxes on their profits in the markets where they operate, while digital companies do not, as they can conduct economic activity remotely without taxable presence. And as we all said, the COVID-19 outbreak has exacerbated this distortion, and the crisis has provoked major disruption to the global supply chains, and digital businesses have flourished, increasing significantly their global profits. So the new rules that the Inclusive Framework is discussing under Pillar 1 would result in a fairer allocation of profits among jurisdictions, ensuring that taxation takes place where economic value is created, regardless of the business model. And the second point is about stability, because reforming the existing rules is critical to guarantee a more stable tax environment with greater tax certainty for multinational enterprises, and tax certainty is crucial to support investment decisions by multinational enterprises. And this is extremely important in the recovery phase after the pandemic. And it must be clear to everyone that the alternative to an international agreement is not the status quo, because in the absence of an international agreement, countries will follow diversified strategies and adopt uncoordinated responses, with the result of fragmentation of the tax measures, risk of double taxation, and increase of tax disputes. So on that account, I should add that, as you know, in Italy, we have a digital service tax in force, but our DST includes a sunset clause that provides that the tax will be repealed as soon as an internationally agreed solution is implemented. So a coordinated solution is necessary to bring stability to the international tax system, to prevent further uncoordinated measures, and reduce trade tensions triggered by unilateral initiatives. And along the revision of the rule on allocation of profits, of course, we need new rules to tackle the remaining BEPS issues due to the persistence of corporate income tax rate differentials by establishing a global minimum effective taxation. Therefore, we strongly support the work on Pillar 2, aimed at establishing new and effective rules that will reduce incentive for multinational enterprises to move profits in low tax jurisdiction by leveling the playing field among countries and preventing a race to the bottom that in perspective may have an unsustainable impact on corporate income tax revenues. So after so many years of work and debates on the appropriate coordinated tax response to the challenges of digitalization of economy, a global agreement we think is within reach. The two blueprints are strong bases to build upon, and I encourage all members of the Inclusive Framework to address and solve the outstanding open technical issues. In particular, it is essential to complete the work on simplification of the rules to ensure their consistent implementation worldwide, while minimizing the compliance burden for taxpayers and enforcement costs for tax administration. So let me conclude by reiterating the urgency of the global agreement. We should also take into account that the new international tax rules will be an essential component of the reforms that will be enacted for ensuring the sustainability of public finances in the post-pandemic phase. Thank you.
Grazie mille. Thank you so much. I noted urgency. The fact that there will be no status quo and that absent a solution, there will be instability.
Yes, thank you. So we are aware that there are high expectations on the G20 to agree on the review of international tax rules and to meet this deadline of mid-21. So, of course, this is a top priority of our G20 agenda. And for doing so, we will engage with all parties involved, including, of course, the new US administration to help bridging the remaining gaps and build a political consensus. And we, of course, will also very closely liaise with the UK G7 presidency. With Rishi, I have discussed the importance of making progress and finding this common solution for the reason we are all stressing also here in this debate. And I think the very close, excellent cooperation and agreement between Italy, the UK, the two presidencies is also an added value for this challenge, for this task. I'm also glad to have the opportunity to share more broadly our priorities of Italian presidency with the delegates to the inclusive framework in particular, but not only in the area of taxation. As you know, we have identified in our vision 3 pillars: people, planet, prosperity, being aware that this is a crucial year, not only for recovering from the pandemic, but also to try to strengthen a change, transformation of our global economy toward common goals of sustainability, resilience, innovation, and inclusion. So people, because all policy action will be centered on people, and it means tackling inequalities and promoting equal opportunities. Planet, because we need to restore balance between people and nature, and our global commitment to the Paris Agreement can no longer be postponed. And prosperity, because global growth should be seen as a tool to ensure prosperity. In particular, we should strive to make technological transformation and digitalization an opportunity for all. So within this framework, the finance track will aim to complement the policy aimed at sustaining the recovery with the development of long-term strategies that can promote the transformation toward fairer, greener, more digital inclusive society. And we have identified 6 priorities. Number 1, to ensure that health is a global common good and strengthen pandemic preparedness. To promote an international environment conducive to investment and growth, to maintain global financial stability while enhancing financial inclusion in a digital world, to support vulnerable economies and strengthen the international financial architecture, to protect our planet while improving living conditions for all, and to make, of course, as we are saying, the international tax system more fair and transparent. And in particular, on international taxation beyond digital taxation, we will work on tax transparency, where despite the substantial progress achieved over the past years, we believe that it is important to tackle new emerging risks originating from technological developments. The OECD is currently developing a reporting framework for automatic exchange of information on crypto assets, and we aim to endorse it at the G20 Finance Minister meeting in October. On BEPS, the Italian presidency is committed to endorse the review of the minimum standards on country-by-country reporting, mutual agreement procedures, as well as the revised methodology to review the minimum standard on tax treaty abuse. on tax and development, strengthening domestic resource mobilization in developing countries through enhancement of their capacity in tax policy and tax administration remains a high priority, and we intend to mandate the OECD to prepare a report to G20 on the benefits that developing countries derive from their participation to the inclusive framework. We intend to launch a discussion on the role of tax policy to support the transition to a low-carbon global economy, promote green technologies and investments, and encourage the use of more efficient and less polluting energy sources. And the 2021 high-level tax symposium that will be held back to the July meeting of the finance ministers, hopefully in person in Venice, will deal with environmental taxation, and the outcome of this discussion will feed in a broader high-level event on the role of economic, fiscal, and financial policy in shaping a greener recovery. And finally, we will mandate the OECD to produce for the April meeting an update of the report delivered last year on tax policy and COVID-19, and to present in October a new report on tax policy after COVID-19. So we have indeed an ambitious program, and we count on the support of all colleagues from the G20 countries, and of course on the excellent work of OECD. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for keeping us extremely busy. And I make a dream that next year, in a few years, we will have fixed the issue of the digitalization of the economy, and we'll all talk about greening the economy through carbon pricing and so. Roberto, your very last word as chair of the G20.
I want to say that we are going through really an unprecedented crisis, which is really unique for its nature, its persistency, but we have to know and to be aware that we have also big opportunities, and we must be prepared to reap these opportunities. And indeed, I think we do have the opportunity to find a consensus and agreement on digital taxation, on Pillar 1, Pillar 2. I think this has been a very positive debate, and I'm so confident that we can do this, and we are, of course, very determined to reach together this goal with the participation of everybody. Thank you, really.